I'm Vicki, and I'm from California. I live in Calaveras County, but at one point I lived here in San Francisco. I had 2 abortions in the early 1970s, and at that time, abortion was only legal in New York and California, and I lived in Massachusetts. It was a long time ago, but sometimes it seems like yesterday. Some things about those abortions I will never forget. I was pregnant both times by the same man. He did not want to get married. If my parents had found out I was even sexually active, they would have killed me. Those were enough reasons for me. My boyfriend went with me for the first abortion, and the second one he did not know about. I remember the procedure itself and feeling very removed from my body as it was done. I remember nothing after the first one, but after the second one, I remember trying to console another woman who was crying after the procedure. I stayed in a hotel in New York City that night and could not get warm. I called the front desk and asked them to check the heater. There was nothing wrong with it. I was freezing. Chills passed through my body like a knife. It was a sensation that would return to me many times over the next years. The next day, on the bus going home to Massachusetts, I felt a huge emptiness inside, and I cried out to God to not let me do this ever again. I did get pregnant again by the same man. I kept wanting to put those babies back in my womb. This time I moved to California, and my son was adopted here in San Francisco. For years, I struggled to make something of my life. I married a man I met in group therapy. We both were mourning the loss of a child, his by divorce, mine by adoption. I did not recognize my losses by abortion. I had another son, and my stepson came to live with us. I was still not happy. I did not know what was wrong. I thought it was about the adoption, but an astute counselor at a pregnancy help center said it was more likely about the abortions. I didn't want to go there. I worked and worked to be the perfect wife and mother and overachiever at my job. I was still miserable, and my children and husband knew what people saw on the outside was not who I really was. I took the training to become a pregnancy center volunteer and was told I had to go through this post-abortion Bible study before I could counsel. And I thank God every day that they had that rule. I really believe that I was the first person that had to follow that rule, and I believe they saw me coming and made that rule. And I thank God, thank God, thank God. Finally, through this Bible study, I began to see how the abortions had affected me. I let myself feel the incredible grief I had for the babies who I had aborted. I saw how my relationships with my husband and my children were marred because I could not let myself get close to anyone. I could only punish myself because of what I had done. I began to heal by the blood of the love of Jesus. And when I did the study a second time, a few years later, I accepted God's forgiveness and knew my babies were with him in heaven. I don't get that chilled sensation anymore, even standing up here. I have come to know my purpose and now lead other women in that healing Bible study. I have met and know of so many women like myself who have struggled for years and did not know why, and that is the reason I will be silent no more.